Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we listen to the unseen, to the current energies, and we go as guided. And whoo, this is just such an incredible time to be alive. Against the backdrop of everything that's going on in the world, from the unseen's perspective, we are at what they call this moment a culmination moment, because it is not, we're at the end of the year, but it's not about endings. It's not our typical endings and beginnings. And so bear that in mind throughout the show, but also throughout these energies in the next days as we end 2023, begin 2024. Recognize that it's far more, there's far more that's going on, because to culminate is to reach a climax or a point of highest development. And we can look at that from the stage or from the perception, the experience of the Piscean era, the patriarchal era, and everything that it has to offer, everything we've been through. And so it is this culminating point. It is not a normal ending and beginning. That is the point the unseen wants you to walk away with, take away with. Welcome, Alicia. As you're joining from around the globe, put a shout out in the comments, say hello, and remember we incorporate your comments and your questions live throughout the broadcast. So this week's theme that builds upon this moment. In this moment, you see me using my hands left and right, kind of trying to encompass a period of time or a moment, this moment of culmination. Welcome, Ava. And with that, what the unseen wants us to do in this moment. So to put it in very simple layman's terms, from this point through the end of the year into the beginning of the year, again, recognizing that it's far more than that. And so it brings us to our main theme, which is reflection. The ghost of Christmas past, and it's a wonderful life. I was going to say it's a whole new world, because it is, and you'll see how that comes together. The image on your screen, the beautiful reflective blues, and then there is this mirrored heart with the ruby red beads above holding the chain of the heart. It's about reflection. The ghost of Christmas past, it's a wonderful life. And the interesting thing, reflection, its definition is the throwing back by a body or surface of light, heat, or sound without absorbing it. So in essence, to reflect. It's also known as serious thought or consideration. And so we're really dealing with the second one, this serious thought and consideration, this reflection that goes along with, of course, the story of A Christmas Carol. And the reason that they're bringing this up, this is A Christmas Carol, is from Charles Dickens. The Ghost of Christmas Past is a fictional character in Charles Dickens' 1843 novella, A Christmas Carol. Welcome, Elizabeth. The ghost is one of three spirits that appear to miser Ebenezer Scrooge to offer him a chance of redemption. Following a visit from the ghost of his deceased business partner, Scrooge receives nocturnal visits from three ghosts of Christmas, each representing a different period in Scrooge's life. The Ghost of Christmas Past is concerned with the Christmases from Scrooge's past. Welcome, Colleen. Welcome, Jennifer. The background to this is by early 1843, Charles Dickens had been affected by the treatment of the poor, and in particular, the treatment of the children of the poor after witnessing children working in appalling conditions in a tin mine and following a visit to a ragged school. Indeed, Charles Dickens experienced poverty as a boy when he was forced to work in a blacking factory after his father's imprisonment for debt. We've talked a lot about, remember, Amaji, the liberation, the freedom, the manumission, the release from debt, from enslavement. Originally intending to write a political pamphlet titled An Appeal to the People of England on behalf of the poor man's child, he changed his mind and instead wrote A Christmas Carol, which voiced his social concerns about poverty and injustice. The Ghost of Christmas Past is a strange, otherworldly creature that shimmers and flickers like a candlelight, constantly changing in appearance as it reflects Scrooge's memories, old and new. As one memory comes sharply into focus, another fades. So what the unseen, the energy around this moment of culmination is to reflect, to go in, to see, to know where we're going, because there's a readiness. Item 3C for this week is a readiness to advance because, in quotes, having known where you've been, you now know where you're going. And so it's about taking stock. It's about looking at our lives with the purest lens, with utmost clarity, kindness, but also truth and honesty. Look at where we've been. Take stock of it. Know where you have been so that you know where you're going. And what that means is, who do I want to be in the now? Who am I in this present moment? What am I to release, to shed, to purge, to let go of? So that in the new, and I'm not calling next year the new year, it's like in the new, that's who we are. And it's because we've taken this moment of time to reflect, to really discern who we want to be in the new. And the only way that we can truly do that is to go within and have this honest life review. And that's really what the story of A Christmas Carol and The Ghost of Christmas Past demonstrates. Welcome, Deborah. Welcome, Teresa. So, because at the end of it, what's so fascinating, what's so beautiful, and is, it's a wonderful life. That is what's on new. That is the new. In order to get to it, we've got to be brutally honest with ourselves in this moment of reflection. Take the time to reflect. I'm harping a little bit because they're harping with me in my head about this greater, bigger message. What's fascinating, Charles Dickens. So It's a Wonderful Life, the Jimmy Stewart movie, is based on the Charles Dickens original, The Christmas Carol. And both stories, both A Christmas Carol and It's a Wonderful Life demonstrate the bounty, the beauty and the bounty, the gifts that come from this life of reflection, and how in an instant they turn and they become who they want to be. That's the moral of the story. What's fascinating, the etymology of Charles means free man. The etymology of Dickens is a euphemism for the devil. So literally his name, it's that the devil card and the lover's card in the tarot. It's free man and a euphemism for the devil, enslaved. Which one are we? Which one do you want to be in the new? For me, and I hope for all of you, it's about being a free man, a free woman, a free being that has been liberated of your own accord, by your own hand, your own doing. That's the greater messages that we're playing with this week and into the new at this culminating period. Let's look at the astro influences, because we also have, so we have this, what they called, the unseen called the beautiful necessity. So on Monday, we had the sun conjunct the galactic center, the galactic center of our universe at 27 degrees Sagittarius. Tomorrow, the sun enters Capricorn at 8 degrees. And it's the winter, well, it's the December solstice. And so with that, and they said the beautiful necessity of these two acts, these two things occurring. And I want to share my screen here with you for a moment. There we go. And this is from the Power Path School of Shamanism, thepowerpath.com. If you are not a member, it's free to join. They have wonderful monthly email updates on the overall energies for the month, the moon, and so forth. This is the update from Lena Stevens. And look at this beautiful image. Now here's like the winter, the darkening, if you will. And then all of a sudden, what do we have? The bursting forth, the rebirth of light. Because on 12/21, the solstice is, quote unquote, the dying of the sun. S-U-N, but it also correlates with the crucifixion, and thereby the dying of the sun. The sun holds its place for 3 days. In other words, it stays in this suspended state, and then on the 25th, the sun is reborn, and the light begins to shift back to its highest northern point. So here she is talking about, so the solstice, winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in the southern hemisphere, is tomorrow, the 21st of December. It begins at 8:27 p.m., occurs at 8:27 p.m. Mountain Time. She's saying the solstice is a still point where the sun reverses its cycle and the days get either longer from this point on or shorter. A still point creates an opportunity where we can access the void, the space between the past we are releasing and the future which is yet to be manifest. The void provides a container of freedom to make different choices and to raise the bar for yourself on how you want to go forward in your life. This is also a time of completions and focusing on what you are leaving behind, more so than what you wish to manifest in the future. See, it's about what you're leaving. The focus is on what we're shedding, what we're releasing. That's that reflection, the ghost of Christmas past, It's a Wonderful Life. Because in essence, by purging it, we're renewed. The cleanup to create space is much more important than gathering what you think you will need for future intentions, because they come of their own accord when we've emptied our vessel. With this solstice, we enter into a time frame until the next solstice where we are revising, restructuring, revaluing, repatterning, and recommitting to living the way of our truth. This is not a mental exercise, so be in your heart and listen to the intelligence, wisdom, intuition, and truth of your heart. See, this is not an ego mind personality activity. This is a soul source connection. It is a soul source reflection, life review. It's done from the intelligence and the wisdom and the intuition and the truth of your heart. Use that truth as a guide and compass to clarify any intentions you set for yourself for this next cycle. This next year is a big one, and it is highly recommended to be as prepared as possible. Yes, it is a big one. Remember, 2024, the 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 becomes an 8. It's about unity. It's about uniting. It is about coming together in a way that we have not really probably experienced in this lifetime forever. So big energies at play here. Welcome, Olivia. And Colleen is sharing all my self-doubts and insecurities. Well, and that's the beauty of it. That's so perfect, Colleen. It is going to bring up, Scrooge brings up, the Christmas Carol, the It's a Wonderful Life, brings up, quote unquote, the shadow. This is what Pluto has been doing before it officially launches into Aquarius. Ava's saying that Charles Dickens was an Aquarian. So you can see, and this call that to, like Master Jesus and everything, to recognize the least among us so as to empower us all. It is to be to witness the very worst of us, the shadow, so that we cleanse it, we purify it. So do not let it, the long-winded story, pardon me, is to not let any shadow elements, do not sit in judgment with yourself. Do not allow any fear or shadow work to immobilize you, to create fear. Allow it, because you're going to see, I'm going to show you this card really quickly. You're going to see King of Wands here. There's a reason. I've not done this before, but I knew to draw tarot cards for us all. And so we're going to close with that at the end. But this King of Wands, and wands represent fire. This baptism by fire, this transmuting by fire. So allow it to cleanse your being. That is the point. Allow that to cleanse. Yes, so Olivia is saying that Pluto moving into Aquarius hasn't happened in 246 years, not since the French and American revolutions and the Industrial Revolution. That occurs, it officially moves into Aquarius on January 20th, 2024. So, and it'll dip back slightly, it'll retrograde slightly at the, I believe in November of 2024, and then it officially goes forward for the next 20 years. And so there's this amazing moment in time here where the unseen is saying, the first thing they said for this week was, it is written, ... in the stars, meaning all of this, what we're experiencing, this moment of culmination is written in the stars. Welcome, Sue. And so with that, we have this winter solstice message that coincides with the review, and thereby we know what to do. This moment is bigger than just a normal ending and beginning, end of a year, beginning of a year, holiday time period. It's bigger than that. And thereby, no, they're not scary, Colleen. They're so hopeful and great and divine and perfect. Because again, we have to know where we've been in order to know where we're going. And item 3C, the Trinity, the Christ light, 3C, a readiness to advance, because having known where you've been, you know where you are going. We know where we've been. And so to do the shadow work and to do the very best of all, do the works to reflect on who you want to be, who you are, because it's really about who you are. Your character is your fate. Who are you? And let that person show up in the new. Be the new. That's what we're talking about here. So let's look at we're going to look at the astro chart really quickly here because we're not focusing on the Sabian symbols. We're working with 3 hexagrams this week that really tell the story. But you'll notice when you look at the astrological chart, and this is for the December solstice, so for tomorrow. This is the chart for tomorrow. All of the major planets, except Venus, she's just above the meridian line. If you see her, she's right at the midpoint on left and right. She's on the left at 20 degrees Scorpio. All the other planets are in houses 1 through 6. And they gave me that song, which we had, some shows ago, but it's that Diana Ross, Upside Down, Boy You Turn Me, Inside Out, Round and Round. And that is this interesting, because it's like all the activity, all the play is on the underworld, in the underworld. It's in the first 6 houses. And then it just upside down. It is about this allowing, this cultivating, this turning yourselves inside out, upside down, and be good with it. No fear. Remember, fear is your friend. It is energy, and it is how we utilize that energy. So if something comes in that's fearful, that's okay. Allow the fear and then say, it's okay. Fear is my friend. Fear is energy. Love is energy. Kindness is energy. It's all energy. So the point is to harness the energy of fear to propel you forward, to move you forward. Do not allow it to immobilize you. Do not allow it to ridicule or denigrate. There's been enough of that in the world. This is a Pluto transformational time so that we clear out the goo and we move forward. So, real quickly before we move into the hexagrams, the mantra. It's a beautiful image. The mantra is, it's a wonderful life. The image is of the pomegranate. And the reason that image was chosen is because it's a wonderful life. That is the message from the unseen. Our human earthly existence, no matter what the illusion is, at your root, at your divine essence, at your core, it's a wonderful life. The pomegranate is said to be the tree of life, and there is speculation as to whether it was the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. Its Latin name literally means seeded apple. It is a symbol of hope, one of the 3 blessed fruits in Buddhism, and a symbol of resurrection in Christianity. So there is a reminder here. No matter what, if you're doing shadow work in your reflection, it's a wonderful life. It literally represents the seed of life. It represents the purity, the transfiguration, the transformation, the sangreal, the royal blood. It represents all of these things of which you are. And it's to remember that. So that's why they've given us this image of the pomegranate and our mantra of it's a wonderful life. Because, again, you are that. We are that. So as we move, we're going to be looking at the main energies. Let's bring that up really quickly so you know the hexagrams we're dealing with. And it's fascinating. So, of course, it's December. It's a 12-month. you see an asterisk on the sign next to the 12, it's because we have double 12s. That's doubling down on these messages for this moment. So the 12 is that standstill, release, be ready. Remember, it's about, biblically, it's about pulling up the tent pegs and being ready to advance. It's to be ready. In order to be ready, we got to be lighten our loads. We got to empty our vessels, reflect. The 20, today is the 20. It's that beautiful contemplation, the all-seeing owl, the all-seeing eye with the golden apple. This contemplation, it's a higher view. 7 this year, 2023 is a 7. Army, legions, correct discipline. We have everything we need. The 20 becomes a 2. The receptive, no coincidence. Reflect. Its action is to reflect. And here the unseen is guiding us. Reflection, to reflect. Now, if you add the 12, the 20, and the 7 together, it becomes a 39. And that is to do with obstruction and that we're to innovate. So again, do not allow, and you'll see, because we're going to work with hexagram 2, hexagram 39, and then hexagram 3, because when you culminate, the 12, the 1 and the 2, become a 3. Difficult beginnings, persevere. And this beautiful message about difficult beginnings, persevere, is all about the new. It's difficult at the beginning. The old is going away, the new is arriving, and here we are caught in the crosshairs, if you will, caught. Because we came here, we chose, our souls chose to come here at this moment, to experience this transformation, this transition of time. And it's epic. It's 2,000 plus years of an era, of a mentality, of an energy that's changing. And so again, we can see, to Colleen's point, and the point from the unseen about fear, do not allow fear to immobilize you. Things are occurring on the world stage because of fear. Everyone can feel it. Everyone can feel the advance of the new age. Matriarch, Aquarian, matriarchal rule, this beautiful equality. And they're terrified because it's been 2,000 plus years of a way. Well, that way, the arc of destiny moves forward. So the way is moving forward. Don't be caught up in the chaos. Be a part of the beauty of the solution, of the advance, because you're ready. Tent pegs are pulled up and you're ready to go. So there is a beauty in, we're going to work this in reverse order, and we're going to work with hexagram 39 first. Hexagram 39 is obstruction. Its action is to innovate. Its hidden influence, 64, before completion. Prepare. See, they're talking about this window of time, this air quotes ending and beginning that we're so, it's customary, we're used to it. And they're saying, but it's it's before completion. Prepare. Do the reflection. Do the life review. Its underlining cause is opposition, to accommodate. And so here I'm going to bring up this first quote. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him to find it within. And the image on your screen is this iridescent bubble, this clear iridescent bubble. That clear iridescent bubble is you. It encompasses your rainbow light body, your iridescence, your purity, your goodness, against the beauty of this blue background. So again, and this is Galileo, seeing the stars, one of the greatest minds of our time, of our age. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help to find it within. So bear that in mind, because it's reflection. It's about going within. So Obstruction is composed of the mountain and the danger presented by the abysmal. Keeping still on the mountain doesn't mean wisdom and enlightenment are a destination or a place to hide from life. It's within us. It's fluid. It's actionary. Enlightenment is a perspective of openness as the world before us changes and changes around us. Also, the path ahead will always pose challenges and dangers, so it does no good to believe that conflict or difficulty can come to an end. It's about facing things head on and knowing from that, not from ego, mind, personality. That's where fear is going to live. Soul source connection, centeredness. Okay, God, okay, source, okay, spirit, source, and symphony. What did my soul say it would do? And it will guide you through any difficulty or challenge. Conflict is the driving force of change, and how you approach it determines your success. The hidden influence of before completion also suggests a similar message. Obstruction suggests preparing in advance for innovation. See, the unseen is saying to us, prepare in advance. Reflection, The Ghost of Christmas Past, It's a Wonderful Life, this life review. It is about prepare in advance so that we are ready. Why? Because for innovations, for the new, we're talking about this Pluto in Aquarius, the innovation, not since the industrial French-American revolutions. So this innovation. The underlying cause of opposition revealed how diversity and uniqueness were kept intact during union. In obstruction, we must bring diverging energies together so that both are transformed. In a world that is not stagnant and always growing, evolution is the rule. Because otherwise we become stagnant. We've been there, done it, and we're trying to cling and hang on to it. It doesn't work because it becomes stagnant. So evolution, advance, evolution is the rule. Regardless of the obstruction, it has come to teach you about a new approach or a new perspective. The image of someone limping with cold feet reveals how we fall out of circulation with the path or the constant flow of change. That is one of the only things that's promised, is change. We may have a sense of danger and get cold feet, but the feet only grow cold because we stop moving. Sometimes the obstruction is in the mindset and keeping still to observe what events are revealing. You can see the situation differently. So by sitting still and observing what the events are revealing, you can see the situation differently, clearly. Because you're not in your ego, mind, personality, you're down in your soul-centered source connection. So that keeping still means I'm allowing to see things develop, unfold, so I can see things clearly. Sometimes the obstruction is on the path because we have wandered away from ourselves. During a time of obstruction, the only real blockage is an unwillingness to change. Anything that comes to block your progress is simply life's pursuit of a better way. Yes, circumstances may be frighteningly unfamiliar, but there is also great promise of excitement as the old way transforms into the new way. We've been talking about this for 2+ years now. The unseen has been guiding us. The divine feminine has been guiding us. That her return is imminent, present. And again, it does not mean that it comes at the expense of the divine masculine. They come together. The purity of the void, the purity of the light, yin, yang. They come together in the purity of harmony, of love, of opportunity, of existence. And so do not allow any obstructions. Release them. The way is clear. It's before us. It's presenting itself to us. Yes, Elizabeth is saying, I have had to do a check-in every day for the past 2 weeks. It's been amazing. Yes, because you want to be consistently recalibrating, ensuring your connectivity. And Elizabeth and I spoke about this just recently. This thing about when you come to know, when you come to recognize a frustration, a fear, an anxiety, you'll instantly come to recognize, I'm in ego, mind, personality-ville land. And you can take that breath, and then all of a sudden you're like, and just the recognition, just the acknowledgement that you're in ego, mind, personality land allows you to release it. And you go, that's what that is. Okay, let me let go of that. And then all of a sudden, coming back to center, there's this innate joy. You see me smiling. It just brings about this innate calm, joy, peace, because you've let go of what is ego, mind, personality. You've let go of the illusion of something so that you come back to center and then allow the obstruction to dissipate, allow what's really present, what's on offer, to present itself, to prevail. So, okay, that's hexagram 39, obstruction. Now we move into hexagram 2. And hexagram 2 is the receptive. It is the divine feminine. Its action is to reflect. Its hidden influence is itself, the receptive, to yield. What I just said, that Elizabeth and I were discussing. We yield the ego, mind, personality to the soul. We come back to center. We come back to truth. The underlining cause of the receptive is one, the creative force, the ego, mind, personality. It's the underlining cause, meaning allow it to come under and support, to initiate, to be in service to the receptive, the wisdom of source, of the soul. I loved this image. Here we are. Reaction is how you defend the past against the future. It's the image of a shield and swords, crossed swords, to be reactive, to defend. But we're defending something that we've already experienced. We're defending where we've been, as opposed to being open to where we're going. So again, suspend defense, reaction, being confrontational, all of these shadow. There's a reason the image is in black and white, in grays, shadow. Reaction is how you defend the past against the future. We want to respond, not react. So here we are, hexagram 2, the receptive. The receptive calls for a period of patience and reflection. You really can't make this up. The unseen gives me the word reflection, and all of these things come together and culminate in this message of reflection. Hexagram 2, reflect. Where you may have been reactive in the past, it is time to learn how to be responsive. Reaction is a defensive position to uphold the unknown, while responsiveness is open to the unknown. See, we respond, we're open to the new, to the unknown. The receptive encourages you to yield to the way each day is creating awakening. So it's saying, allow the receptive, because it encourages you to yield to the way each day is a creative awakening. Each moment with each second, it's a creative awakening. A sense of openness and the release of clinging to structure and form will be necessary to give birth to this energy. And remember, this energy, they have said to us, the divine feminine, this is genie out of the bottle, remember? And thereby, genie's never going back in the bottle. She's been let out of the bottle for a reason, for an incredible purpose. And we're not to hang on to or cling to or try to control or encapsulate this energy. It is to permeate, to move through us. The difference between reaction and response is your ability to use your senses and not the memory mind while observing. Stand, see, it's not about memory. It's not your memory reflex. It's about suspending that to receive what's really on offer. Stand in the moment with a sense of openness to what is unfolding without defending the past. Connect with each sense. Are you listening? Are you seeing how life speaks to you? Remove preconceptions and judgment. All things change in time, and a period of action reflected by the underlying cause of the creative must give way to its opposite, reflection. Like winter, literally it's winter, like winter, it is time to turn within and reinvigorate your inner world in preparation for a springtime to come. This in the new, what the uniting, the coming. Embodying an open field in any activity, you are called to put your needs aside to serve, open, and reflect before acting. See, put the ego, mind, personality aside, place it in service to the soul so that you are called to put your needs aside to serve, open, and reflect before acting. The receptive's power of success comes from within. Move into the world from the inside out. The receptive is the womb holding the energy of attraction by way of intention that requires the development of sincerity and patience. This is speaking to the fact that the purity of our intentions sets the tone. It is what we will experience. So what's the purity of your intentions? That creates, what are your thoughts? The purity of your intentions. That creates the experience because it's going to dictate the choices you make, and then those choices dictate the experience you have. So the receptive is the womb holding the energy of attraction by way of intention that requires the development of sincerity and patience. The receptive is in harmony with the boundless. It embraces everything and illuminates everything in its greatness. The receptive is composed of all yin lines and coaches you to become more still, more observant, and less reactive. By not doing anything, you become a spectator to see how circumstances unfold to guide you. See, it's like, it's not, it is to be absolutely, this is an oxymoron, passively active, meaning, there's the oxymoron. Passive meaning to allow, to open, so that you don't think that you know the way. That's ego, mind, personality talk speaking. The way is going to be a knowing, it's going to be felt, it's going to be received. And then it's placing that active, the creative force, in action with it, for it, in alignment and harmony. The master said and this is that beautiful image, let me bring this up. It's so powerful. The master said, when closely related things do not harmonize, misfortune is the result. This is of the Dome of the Rock, the Wailing Wall, the Temple Mount. These closely related things, all stemming from Abraham, Isaac, Ishmael, and so forth. When closely related things do not harmonize, misfortune is the result. It is a powerful message of unity. We are one, and yet we're fighting amongst ourselves. We're fighting against our brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter. We're fighting against our fellow human being. Misfortune is simply how you fight against necessary change. Sometimes the receptive can be a message about letting go letting the past go and opening to something new. There's a new way. We don't have to kill or be killed and all of this oppression and suppression and domination. That's of the old way. You may be too attached to what you believe you want when Tao is bringing you what you need. See, ego, mind, personality will tell us something, but the soul knows best and knows better and knows all. Look around to see what life is saying to you right now. Pay more attention to your dreams to uncover the profound guidance that comes from within. When you cultivate a natural response to what unfolds, you react less and observe more. You are in constant alignment. It's like you're in perfect harmony with yourself, with your soul self. Not ego, mind, personality self. That is going to take training. We got to untrain the mind. Because it's been, it's 2,000 plus years. It's been used to being in charge, in the lead. But now it's in the sidecar in service to the soul. It is often in the things that you cannot change that you discover Tao's power to guide you the most. Circumstances urge you forward, although reaction is how you defend the past against the future. A natural response means that you respond to life without defending anything. So you respond to it. You're in harmony and flow with it. You don't have to argue. You don't have to prove. Just be. We may find it odd that mystics deny the reality of the outer world. I love this. We may find it odd that mystics deny the reality of the outer world. What is the unseen? What have I been saying in the unseen? I know what it looks like out there. However, and it says, yet more people deny the immense power and reality of their inner world. So what they're saying is we may find it odd that mystics are saying that they deny the reality of the outer world, yet more people deny the immense power and reality of their inner world. It means they deny the reality and the power, the immense power of their soul, of their knowing, of their being. Like the time of autumn when all things turn back to be renewed, you are coached to turn inward to reinvigorate your inner garden. The pomegranate, the tree of life, the Garden of Eden. That's who you are. We are these eternal souls and these eternal beings of divine light. And that is what's on offer. So that's the receptive. And now we move, last but not least, to the difficult beginnings. It is persevere. It's hidden influence, 23, split apart, regenerate. That's splitting apart, the reflection, the life review, so that we show up in the new, regenerated, new. Its underlining cause is 50, cauldron, refinement, to refine. I love this image and this quote. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. It's a quote by Emerson. So to the beautiful topic that Colleen raised about fear. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. And this beautiful image, you see how the light is coming from the right, illuminating the shadows, the beauty of, and look at the beauty of the void. Because again, fear, it's President Kennedy, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. We don't need to fear fear. Fear is an illusion. It's energy. Use it to your advantage. In meaning, they're catching me. The unsing is like, meaning use fear for positive advance, not to oppress, suppress, intimidate others. You don't double down on the darkness. You illuminate and you purge the darkness with the light. You cleanse up, you purify both. Okay, so difficult beginnings. Just as a seedling must crack open and push through soil and rocks to reach its source of solar nourishment, all new endeavors encounter obstacles in the beginning stages. The time calls for persevering into regeneration. So we're coming into the new. Obstacles refine our sincerity about what we are doing and hone our inner vision. The arrangement of the I Ching generally unfolds where each hexagram is viewed to be the cause or response of the preceding one. Yet, difficult beginnings is the result of two hexagrams, the creative, divine masculine, and the receptive, divine feminine, interacting, coming together. Therefore, difficult beginnings embodies how opposite yet powerful energies give birth to something new. This something new isn't, again, throwing the baby out with the bathwater and the oppression of the divine masculine and then the swinging the pendulum to where it's now the divine feminine is, the oppressed becomes the oppressor. It's not that. It is the purity and the harmony of these two powerful energies coming together, working in harmony and oneness with each other. This hexagram has a unique message where an unavoidable but difficult encounter must come together, such as in marriage. Because the situation has never gone before, it lacks the clarity that comes from experience. Yet how refreshing. It embodies the sense that the situation is meant to be, and its opposing qualities are what brought it to life in the first place. See, we can't know what the new is if we don't know can't know where we're going if we don't know where we've been. And so it's the beauty of this, because it's the opposing qualities are what brought it to life in the first place. So the 2,000 plus years of patriarchal rule, Piscean era rule, is what brings about matriarchal Aquarian rule. Difficult beginning can appear when a commitment is being considered, and the act of considering it is what changed an easy attraction into something difficult. Like nature, which would remain stagnant without necessary friction, difficult beginnings embodies perfectly how to embrace conflict as the driving force of evolution. It's painful, but it's necessary, because it is the necessary friction that brings about the change. Difficult beginnings embodies perfectly how to embrace conflict as the driving force of evolution. Often we want to cast blame when we fail, but we always take responsibility for our success. Oh, clever humans. To succeed, you must recognize how Tao improves deficiencies by sharpening them into skills. See, this is about the life review. It's about looking. It's about cleansing and purifying and owning our stuff, because it's sharpening them into skills. There are no mistakes. There are only choices. Everything is a choice. Life has always been committed to your success, but going it alone is not an option here, because the dynamic of interdependency is central to difficult beginnings. Learn to see the teacher in those who challenge you. And remember, that challenge can be yourself, your ego, mind, personality, self. So see the teacher in those who challenge you. Eliminate defenses and preconceptions so you can be lifted to a higher level. The hidden influence describes the splitting apart of a past way of thinking, while the cauldron refines and boils down your capabilities. Connect with your passion and your purpose and persevere until you find a way to manifest your dreams. In that regard, difficult beginnings embodies the dream coming into existence. We all know there's all these dreams. We all know the life, this era that we look for, we welcome and embody. Allow that dream to come into existence by being it, right here, right now. The path ahead is new and promises wonderful transformational learning, regardless of the outcome. So these three powerful hexagrams, obstruction, the receptive, and difficult beginnings, all painting a picture of what's to come and what's to be in this moment of this culminant moment, because we've reached the peak of something and we're moving past it, we're moving on, we're moving through it. 2B. The unseen gave me 2B, which was the number 2 and the letter B. And they said the difference between 12-3, so the 12 and the 3, which is standstill. It's pulling up the tent pegs, being ready to go. So the difference between a double 12 here, which becomes a 3, versus the 39, obstruction. The 3 and 9 become a 12. The 12 becomes a 3. You see the extra step? We don't need to go through obstruction. We don't need to fight against ourselves. We don't need to cling to the past. We don't need to let fear immobilize us. We don't need to fear our own life review. It's the choices we've made. Everything is purposeful. See them, embrace them, and where needed, refine them. Meaning refine yourself, make different choices, make better choices. So that in the new, we're fresh and shiny and new. We are not held prisoner by the past. We can own, atone, release. Remember that. You can own, atone, release for any bad acts, for any bad choices. That is repenting. That is owning our stuff. Number 4, and this was fascinating to me, with all of this that you've heard so far, I said, and what is this? What is this moment that's unexplainable? It's not our ordinary, it's bigger than our ordinary ending and beginning, end of year, beginning of a new year, all of this stuff. And what came back was, it's all for, quote, what goes on. And then they said, no endings, no beginnings, and not a continuation thereof. So this isn't about typical endings and typical beginnings and a continuation thereof. It's all for what goes on. This was fascinating to me. Why? Because what goes on. Oop, gotta bring it up. And I may have forgotten. It has to do with, it's in Ecclesiastes, here it is, Ecclesiastes 8:17. Then I saw all that God has done. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun. Despite all their efforts to search it out, no one can discover its meaning. Even if the wise claim they know, they cannot really comprehend it. So this message of what goes on, it can literally mean what goes on, what's happening behind the scenes, but it's also about what goes on, moves forward. It defines something that's indefinable, but it's defining this what goes on. So this is all about what goes on, because it's not a continuation. It's not an ending and a beginning. It's what advances. It's what moves forward. Last but not least, and I'm going to just bring in, we're going to be off next week for this whole period of reflection, this time. Next week, 12/27, it becomes a 19, which is about approach, advance. So you can see the message is building, that the approach of what goes on, the advance, the pulling up the be ready, stand still, be ready, because we're advancing. That 19 becomes a 10, which is treading, cautious advance. And so it's to do so mindfully. And then that 1 and the 0 become a 1, which is the creative, which is about initiating. So initiating in the new, initiating in what goes on, from a whole new way of being, from a whole new place, a whole new vessel. Now, last but not least, we're going to close out the show with these images. So I knew to pull tarot cards. And yes, we have used tarot cards before, but this was the first time where I have this beautiful deck. It's the Tarot of Mystical Moments by Katrine Welts-Stein. It's a beautiful deck. The first card that came out is on the left, King of Wands. Now, we talk about Pluto, Aquarius, French and American revolutions. And here is this drum with the drumstick and everything with flamed wings coming out of the drum. This particular look of drum is associated with marching, revolution, advance, and the beauty that it's the King of Wands with these wings of flames, this baptism by fire, by renewal, and it's actionary. So fire, wands represent fire, the unexpected, but it's also actionary. It's the things that that we burn away. The next card is in the middle. It's Judgment. Female form, it's an archangel, beautiful white wings, and the trumpet. And they have talked to us about, the unseen has talked to us about this signal, this trumpet sounding. And so, judgment. And judgment, again, renewal. It's neither positive or negative. It just is. For each of us, whatever it may be, it's neither positive or negative. It's what is. And then the third card, which I just laughed. I'm like, you cannot make this up if you tried. It's the World card, and you see the fullness of her skirt is a globe of Earth, and yet you see in her right hand, she's, I said this before in one of the episodes. It's like dans le poubelle. It's in the trash, and in French, it's like the old is the old order. It's going away. It's being placed behind us. Before her, with her left hand, that which is, it comes out of left field. It's the unknown, is the new world, the new world. And so, this baptism by fire, King of Wands, the judgment of what is, the sounding of the new, the heralding of the new, hark the herald angel, and then the deliverance of this new world. I then looked at the bottom of the deck, and what came up was, the Ace of Wands. So here's this beautiful, I'm trying to get the light, there we go. So, Ace of Wands. Now remember, a show or two ago, one of the Sabian symbols was about placing your finger in a book. In this image, she has a book open on her lap, and springing forth is this beautiful Ace of Wands, this flower, rebirth, renewal. So what this is saying is, here's this moment, this culminant moment, this culmination point. We have the baptism by fire, we have the judgment, we have the new world, and then this Ace of Wands, initiate, and feminine, this feminine image. It's like, I've been reading Kathleen McGowan's books, and it's speaking about the book of love. This new way, it's coming up from the center of the book, this beautiful new radiant opportunity, life, to initiate from the divine feminine, from the source. And what was under that? Because you just can't make this up if you tried. Yes, the Fool. New beginnings, going as guided, trusting that you have everything that you need. It's really, and beneath that, just because it's right in front of me and it's amazing, the Magician. The Magician card says we have everything we need. It is the great manifesting card, the great manifester. So with that powerful powerful messages. Take this moment in time. Myself and the unseen, we will see you in the new, early in the new, in January, off next week. And in between now and then, not only, be kind to yourselves, love yourself enough, love yourself more to have this beautiful moment of reflection with yourselves. Because what comes, what's to come and what comes is of such brilliance and quality and beauty. And you are deserving of that. You are that. And so I cannot wait to continue this journey with you. I use the word continue. I cannot wait. I'm like, reversing all that. It is about what goes on. So I cannot wait to be with you and to see what goes on. Until then, have a blessed and beautiful end of year, beginning of new year, and epic reflection of what goes on. Be well.